Nice elbow jumper. Hello and welcome to the Athletic Center on the campus of St. Joseph College, where tonight the Fighting Saints play host to the Albany College of Pharmacy in a college basketball doubleheader brought to you here on STCN. And good evening, everyone. Rick Lyons, happy to have the call for you. Tonight's doubleheader action between Albany Pharmacy and St. Joseph's College. Let's set the table for the women's run about 3.5 minutes away from tip. Pharmacy comes in 11-5 overall in the season, 3-1 in conference play. Winners of 5 of their last 7. The last time out, they dropped a 72-54 decision to the Sage Colleges. They actually led that contest by a point at the half, but were unable to come away with the W. The Panthers score 64 a night, and they shoot 34 from the floor and 28% from behind the arc. They're led in scoring by number 22, Alexis Schooley, a graduate student from Auburn, New York. She scores at 14 points a game, 7 rebounds as well, a 71% shooter from the line. Her high for the season is 24 against Fisher College. She's supported in the scoring department by graduate student. A lot of graduate students on this squad. Graduate student Taylor Sullivan out of Troy, New York. She averages 13 points and 8 rebounds per contest, and her high is 23 against Maine Augusta. And Megan Surley, another grad student on this roster, scores 12 a night, 31% shooter from behind the arc, and Megan likes to shoot the basketball from deep, averaging 7 attempts nightly. Her high is 22 points earlier in the season against Penn College. And for the Lady Fighting Saints, flat out there on a roll. They come in at 16-4, 10-0 in conference play. Winners 15 of the last 16 contests. They have a 5-game winning streak. Last night adding to that streak with an 80-57 win over VTC. Mookie Kennedy poured in 30 points last night. Regina Steele, 18 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 blocks. And Jenny Mendez off the bench dropped 10 points for head coach Chris Wood's squad. And, of course, the scoring department, they score about 80 a night. They shoot 43% from the floor, and almost a third of their shots go down from behind the arc, coming in at 31% from deep. Mookie Kennedy averaging 19.5 per. She shoots it at 43% from long range. Regina Steele drops 19 points, 14 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks on average nightly. She shoots 65% from the floor. Outstanding percentage for Regina from the floor. And, of course, we can't forget about Jazz Larasuente, who averages just a shade over 15 points per and adds 4 rebounds and 3 assists nightly, and also a good deep shooter at 33% from behind the arc. So let's take a moment to honor our country with the playing of the national anthem. And the playing of our national anthem. And we're ready for our starting lineups. First for Albany College Pharmacy. Number 3, Megan Surley. Number 10, Taylor Sullivan. Number 22, Alexa Schooley. And number 31, Rebecca Foote. Rounding out the starting five for the Panthers. Number 42, Danny Griffin. Head coach, Andrew Pelletier. And now for the CSJ Fighting Saints. Number 0, Shamari Broadhead. Number 1, Shantavia Mookie Kennedy. Number 11, Regina Steele. And number 12, Jazz Larasuente. And rounding out the starting five for the Fighting Saints, number 30, Jamie McLaughlin. And of course, head coach, Mr. Chris Wood. So back-to-back runs for the lady and men's Fighting Saints. We'll see how their legs look in the early going. Coach Wood used his bench early and often last night in the victory over VTC. Nice to have that deep and skilled bench. And Coach Wood went to it trying to keep his ladies fresh for tonight. And it should be a challenging run here tonight for CSJ. As we said, Pharmacy comes in winners in 5 of their last 7 contests. An 11-5 overall mark, 3-1 in conference play. Coach Wood with some final instructions to his squad, his starting 5 at least, on the floor. And we're about ready to go. Griffin and Steele in the center circle. And we're underway. Pharmacy controls. Surly on top. Swing it to Schooley. Sullivan. Griffin. They go inside to Foote. And a nice footwork move. Cleared space for herself. Goes glass for the deuce. Larasuente on the attack. And answers with the soft 8-footer. Jazz gets it to go. That 2-2-1 full court press. Been good to the Saints all season long. Pharmacy clears the timeline. Surly on top. Now Sullivan. They go inside to Griffin. Drop step. Goes baseline. Didn't go. There's Suente with the rebound. And she'll bring the basketball. Looks like we have a little box and one situation here defensively, playing man-to-man on Kennedy and a 2-2 zone on the rest. Check that. Well disguised. Fooled me on a dribble drive by Broadhead. Initially, it looked like they were a little box and one there. We'll have to look a little closer, although they certainly appear to be straight man later in the possession. Trying to take that middle away. McLaughlin doing a good job of it. Of course, that's where the ball likes to go offensively against the zone press. They break it. Sullivan to the rack. Shoots up over Steele. That's a tough and tall order. Off the mark with that release. Larasuente pushes up the floor. Gives it to Broadhead. Puts it on the floor. Cut off nicely by Sullivan. Skips it backside to Laughlin, who puts it on the floor. Rejected by Griffin. And that's Schooley going right to work. Gets in the paint. Leveled off there. Kicks it out. Surly. She'll set things. Mookie Kennedy steps in that passing lane and finishes at this end. So we've seen a lot of that over the past month. Kennedy shoots the passing lane, comes up with a steal, and scores quickly, giving the Fighting Saints the 4-2 edge early. Schooley brings it across, guarded by Kennedy. Levels her off nicely, does Kennedy. Picks up her dribble, Schooley, and throws it out of play. Well, that right there, defense you need to play defense every night, and certainly Kennedy coming out and showing how it's done early on in this one. We've got a quick timeout, 30-second timeout by Pharmacy, and we'll take a break in the early going. So defense by Kennedy. First the steal and score, and then gets Schooley to pick up her dribble and throw it out of play. Gives possession back to the Saints. Broadhead looking inside. Gets it down low to McLaughlin. Drop step into lane, blocked off McLaughlin's leg by Griffin, her second block of the contest. And the press broken nicely that time by Pharmacy. Gets it to Griffin, goes right to the rack. Didn't go. Schooley with the rebound won't go. Griffin on the third attempt won't go, but a whistle and a foul. And they'll get Mookie Kennedy with her first personal of the evening. Danny Green steps to the line. She'll shoot a pair. And a freshman out of Paramus, New Jersey, gets the first to go. And the second goes as well, tying this one at 4. Quickly into the offensive end, Lara Suente, stop, pop, gets it. Jazz Lara Suente with a soft 16-footer off the right wing. And now the strip steal by Lara Suente, crossover dribble, goes to the paint, and kisses it off the glass. Showing the whole arsenal, Lara Suente, a soft jumper, then the D, and then the dribble drive getting into the paint. Timeout on the floor. Going to get things figured out at the table. The officials will. 8-4 edge here by CSJ. Lara Suente with 6 of the 8 points. Gets her hand on that again, does Jazz. Got to get across for 10 seconds here, ticking away. Got to be close. And they did not make it. And again, we talked about it earlier with Kennedy. That time the team effort able to get the 10 count on Pharmacy. Broadhead on the wing. Wanted Laughlin, but Lara Suente runs it down. No damage done. 18 on the shot clock. Broadhead on the wing again. They go to McLaughlin up top, looking for Steele in the paint. Fans at baseline to Lara Suente, and they'll get Steele for the 3-second violation. This time Pharmacy breaks the press effectively, gets it to Sullivan. She'll go right to the painted area. Shot blocked by Steele. We said averages 3.5 blocks per. Had 6 last night against VTC. Pharmacy will inbound underneath their own. They'll get Surley in the corner. She'll launch. Can't find the range. Broadhead runs it down in the corner. Mookie with their head up. Saw Steele all the way. Thought about it. Pulled the trigger. Delivery just a bit high and falls out of play. Coming into the contest for the first time tonight, Rochelle Witten out of Herman, New York. Junior guard for the Panthers. Schooley brings it across, takes it right at McLaughlin, who rejects the shot out of play. So early on, Panthers will take it right to the rack. Not a lot of success early going down inside. And steps on that move. Couple of good defensive players on CSJ and Steele and McLaughlin inside. And both have a shot block or 2 already in this one. Broadhead on the right wing, goes down inside to Steele. Powers it up, won't go, gets her own. Gets to that right hand spinning score for Steele. Again, that containment press, that 2-2-1 pressure. This time Surley does a good job, puts it on the deck, gets it across. And they find Schooley for the 15-footer. Back rims it, foot with the rebound. Up won't go. And off Pharmacy out of play. So not easy sledding in the painted area for the Panthers early on. Nice find, wide open. McLaughlin didn't know she was that open, then figured it out and lays it in. Caught it, you catch in the paint usually, you catch and there's 2 or 3 people on you. Not the case there as Kennedy gets the steal. Front rims it. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. A little rebound slash tip slash assist for Jazz off the rebound. Sweet find, fine steal for the bucket. Timeout Pharmacy. Saints lead it by 10. And welcome back to Saints basketball on STCN. Stafford Technical Center News. The whole crew is here tonight under Mr. Kurt Casper's direction. And as always, doing an outstanding job bringing you this telecast. So a second time out of the evening by head coach Andrew Pelletier. Wanted to talk things over. Again, defense leading to offense most of the time here early for the Saints. That time a Kennedy steal pulled the trigger on the jump shot, but Lyra Suente with a sweet rebound and immediately found steal on the back end for the score. Gives the Saints a 10-point lead as Surly lines up a 3-ball and knocks it back. Just what the doctor ordered if you're a fan of Pharmacy. 14-7. As they clear the timeline, Broadhead right to the rack, powers it up, won't go. And Sullivan with the rebound kicks it out to Witten, leveled off by Kennedy, and gives it up to Surly, who will set things. Saints in the man-to-man. Schooley looks it over, fans it to Sullivan. Sullivan backside to Witten. Schooley again goes inside to Griffin, Steele having none of it. Her second block of the evening. That time the left-hand variety. Broadhead brings it herself this time. Sees an opening and finds Steele on the backside. Nicely done, Shamari Broadhead. Brought it into traffic, knew where she was going the entire time, and that was to Steele for the lay-in on the backside box. They fan it down the floor. Sullivan's going to go to the basket, partially blocked by Steele. Schooley runs it down in the corner. Sullivan on top. Swings it to Surly with the left hand. That won't go. And Spate with the rebound. Shayonica came in off of the timeout. Shayonica Spate, number 25, as they enter it down low to Steele, and that's easy money off the right box for Regina. Sullivan finds Surly on the backside. She'll drive it to the paint. Gets her own miss, trying to clean it up. Spins twice, won't go. And a whistle and a foul. And they'll get Broadhead over the top on that rebound attempt. Her first, team's third. And into the contest, number 31 foot returns for the Panthers. And Lopez, Tony Lopez, number 14, comes in for CSJ. Surly goes to the painted area, gets up a nice shot release, won't go, but she'll work her way to the line for 2. So aggressive attacking that paint are the Panthers. Haven't had a lot to show for it so far, but Surly will shoot a pair. Gets the first to go. Megan Surly, the grad student, Oriskany, New York. The second one as well for Surly. 18-9. 7.5 minutes in. Lopez to Steele, looked inside for Spate. Good quick hands that time by Schooley. Got down in the passing lane and pushes it ahead to Witten. Witten had an idea on the backside box. Steele thought better of it, picked it off. And a whistle and a foul. They got Witten with the foul on that foray in the paint. But a quick timeout by Coach Wood, the 2:12 mark, CSJ by 9. And we're back here with Saints basketball on STCN on a Thursday night in Rutland, Vermont. Saints with a 9-point advantage with just over 12 remaining in the first half as Kennedy brings it across. Spade holds it in the corner, gets it back to Lopez. They go high post to steal. Backside to Larasuente, puts it on the deck, gets to the rim easily. Jazz with a nice baseline drive for 2. Now this pressure has been broken recently pretty easily, and they get it right there. They get it to backside to Schooley, who scores, takes the hit, and works her way to the line. I was just saying, and as they found Schooley on the backside, the last 3 or 4 minutes, the pressure really hasn't bothered Albany Pharmacy, and they showed it right there. Got the ball middle, hit Schooley on the backside, took it to the rim, finished, and looks to complete the 3-point play. That foul went against Steele, her first, team's 5th. Rims out for Schooley. Onto the floor, number 5, Jenny Mendez for the Fighting Saints. Jenny had 10 points off the bench last night, and we know she can shoot it. Lopez looking inside for McLaughlin. Didn't have the right angle. Throws it out of play. Panther basketball. They find Whitten. Goes up the sideline to Foot. Foot dribble drive to the rim. Gets it to go. As we said, the Panthers, they attack. They look to get into the paint and see if they can finish. And the last couple of times they have as Jazz pulls the trigger and knocks back a wing 3. Larasuente on fire early here, showing a 3 ball on that possession. Panthers quickly attack. Sullivan with a spin move, partially rejected by Steele. Her 4th block in the early going. Mendez in the corner, leveled off nicely by Foot. Larasuente settles things on top. Go inside to Steele. Kind of a pinball inside, and a pinball goes out of play to the Panthers. So they wanted Steele inside, kind of juggled on her first reception and got it back and then skidded away out of play. Surly trap. Kennedy gets a hand on it. Surly gets it on the backside and now looks up the floor. They find Griffin. Griffin puts the ball on the floor, finds Schooley in transition, trailing the play, but couldn't handle the exchange, out of play. Saints lead it by 10 at the 10-10 mark in the first half. They go inside to McLaughlin. Little jump hook. Good release by Jamie. Couldn't get it to go. Shirley trapped at the timeline. Finds Schooley. And again, Schooley right to the painted area. Steele just catches that one. Says, I'll take that. Leads to transition. And leads to transition points for Kennedy. Andrew Peltier's seen enough. He'll take the timeout. We'll take one too. Saints lead it by a dozen. And welcome back to Rutland, Vermont for Saints basketball here on STCN, Stafford Technical Center News. Coach Peltier took his 3rd time out of the half right there. Doesn't want this one to get away. Saints can score in bunches. And so often, as we've talked about, their defense leads to offense. We've seen it here tonight. The other thing we've seen, I think every shot attempt Jazz Larasuente has put in the air, it's gone down. Be it off the dribble drive, be it off a putback situation, or stepping back and shooting jumpers, and one of the 3-point variety as well has gone down for Jazz. So we'll see if we get some halftime statistics, but right now she's well into double figures just 10 minutes into this one. Panthers inbound. Surly brings it up the sideline, goes middle to Foot. finds Griffin back to Surly, and they'll set against this man-to-man defense of the Saints. Witten thought about it, goes baseline, finds Griffin in the paint, fan it backside to Surly for the jumper. Too strong on that attempt by Surly. The good ball movement, found the open shooter, just couldn't finish the deal out of the right corner. Broadhead looks it over. Swings it to Steele on top. They go to McLaughlin in the painted area. Blocked by Griffin, off McLaughlin, out of play. Officials letting them play here tonight. Contact there, but no call, and probably the right non-call. Foot middle finds Griffin on the backside, and Schooley will set things up on top. Finds Searly on the base, go inside a foot, spins, shoots, no. Good hustle by Witten, kept it alive, but McLaughlin controls, gets it to Lira Suente, tries to thread the needle to a shrieking steal. Griffin deflects it out of play. Jazz will trigger on the inbounds. Let's see if she gets it back in the corner. No, Broadhead decides to go to the rack. A little too strong off the glass. And the Panthers clear and push. Witten inside to Griffin. Double teamed in there. And good aggressive strong play by McLaughlin to wrestle it away from Griffin in the post. Mookie Kennedy. McLaughlin tried to clean it up, gets knocked to the deck. No call. Ball goes out of play to the Panthers. As we said earlier, letting them play here tonight. Subs into the contest. Number 25, Spate, returns for CSJ. Nice anticipation by Broadhead. That time Surly wanted foot up the sideline. Shamari saw it all the way. Got her hand on it, just couldn't reel it in. As Sullivan returns for the Panthers. Schooley holds on top. Picks up her dribble and finds Griffin. Dangerous pass there. Lopez had her sights on it. Just pulled off it at the last second. Witten finds Schooley. 3-ball on its way. Front rims it. Griffin with the putback won't go as Steele cleans it up and finds Kennedy, who will push in transition. Mookie in the corner, fans it back to Lopez on top. They go to Steele inside. Nice cut off the backside box by Spate. And gets a little jump hook to go. Shayonica Spate with a nice cut and a better finish. 27-13 CSJ. Just over 7 minutes left in the first half. So they entered high post to Regina Steele and found the cutter off the backside for the deuce. In Spate with a little finish with a nice little jump hook. Haven't seen that this year from Shayonica, but showed it right there. Broadhead gets the hand in the passing lane. Kennedy finds Broadhead on the backside. That's a nice look and a fine finish. Broadhead initiated it with the steal and rewarded with the bucket at the end. 16-point advantage all of a sudden for the Saints. We're going to get Broadhead for the reach on the far sideline. That's Shamari's third personal, team's sixth. And quickly back into the game comes McLaughlin for Broadhead. Nice crowd on hand tonight. watching the women's contest with a men's run to follow. Griffin on the deep wing, looking inside in the posted area to Sullivan. Sullivan catches but immediately trapped. Gets it back to Griffin. Surley on top. She'll pull and knock it back. Surley, her second long ball of the evening. Much needed right there from the grad student from Orensky, New York. Whistle, they're going to get Mookie for steps before she put it on the floor. Back into the contest comes Schooley for the Panthers. So a big 3-ball by Surley, her second of the evening. Cuts the lead, the Saint lead to 13. They cross the timeline, do the Panthers. Schooley will keep her dribble on top. Finds Surley. Looking inside, that time to Foot. Too strong on the delivery. And the ball goes back to the Saints. Kennedy to Steele. Steele swings it to McLaughlin. Pressured by Griffin. They find Kennedy. 12 on the shot clock. She'll pull from deep. Front rims it, gets her own, and finishes easily. Like the parting of the Red Sea there. Mookie fouled her shot. Picked off the offensive board and laid it in softly. Back into the game as Coach Wood continues to rotate his bench. Lara Suente, who was white hot early. And I'm sure she'll pick up where she left off with Jazz. Griffin finds Schooley. Ball fake. Tries to get to the paint. Leveled off by Lara Suente. Sullivan, one dribble, stop, pop, and gets it. The grad student from Troy, New York. Knocks down a nice soft release. It's a very nice pass. Jazz got into the paint, anticipated a little roll or step open by McLaughlin. Didn't make the connection. And with that, we have a timeout on the floor. We'll break as well. 5:15 left in the half. CSJ by 13. And we're back here on STCN. Panthers cutting into the lead a bit. Trimming it down to a 13-point advantage for the Saints. So we'll see how the final 5 minutes of the half plays out. One thing for sure, the officials letting them play here on both ends tonight. That's a good thing. We don't want to parade to the foul line every 30 seconds, and that hasn't been the case here in the early going. Schooley on top, pressured by Lara Suente. Picks up her dribble, in trouble. Finds Surley, who's bottomed a couple threes. That time takes it in close. Her shot release rejected by Kennedy. Lara Suente in transition where she's dangerous. Switches to the left hand, can't get it to go. A sweet attempt by Jazz, and hustled down in the corner by Steele. Saving the possession for the Saints, but a little right to left hand release action as they run the flex cut. Lopez fans it out to Lara Suente. Back to Lopez for the corner three. Off the mark. Surley finds Foot. Schooley on top. It'll go inside to Foot against McLaughlin. Jamie rejects that shot attempt by Foot. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Got to get busy, do the Panthers. Schooley to the paint and gets it to go before the shot clock expires. Got it to go with 1 left on the shot clock. Schooley puts it on the deck, get where she needed to go, and finishes. Speaking of getting where she needs to go and finishing, Kennedy answers in a heartbeat with the left hand. 13-point advantage. for CSJ is Surly showing her ball handling ability. Takes it in to the painted area, gets rejected. And I tell you, she's a handful in the open court. Jazz Larasuente, tough to handle when she's got space to maneuver. That time will maneuver her way to the free throw line, shooting a pair. It's the first to go. Multiple subs into the game. Number 33, Witten, returning for the Panthers, as does Spate and Mendez for the Saints. Short on the second release by Larasuente. Surly brings it across. Finds Griffith in transition. Her pass inside deflected. Larasuente in the open floor. Wanted steal. Steele hustles it down, finds Kennedy inside. A wide open look for the deuce. $16-point spread for CSJ. Wide open inside is Sullivan. To the drop step spin move. Regina having none of it inside, blocks it out of play. Sullivan, one dribble, stop pop, front rims it, gets her own. Shot blocked on the second attempt. And a 3-on-2 push by the Saints. Find Kennedy on the wing, going to get called for steps again. A little too quick with the feet before she put it down. 2:35 in the half. Surly walks it across the timeline. Finds Schooley. Witten on top. Swing. Surly with 15 on the shot clock goes to Sullivan. Back to Schooley. Knocked off Schooley's leg, out of play. And the quick hands of the St. D shows up again. Mendez in the corner. She's a shooter and shows it right there. Jenny Mendez knocks down the three on a nice find from Steele. Nice luxury to have. You go to your bench. Arguably certainly one of your top three-point threats comes off the bench, and a lot of times maybe teams don't identify till it's too late, and Jenny will knock down one or two. Coming in off the bench shows it right there. Whistle and a foul at the other end. They're going to get Spate with the personal foul. Shionica's first, team seventh. Surly rattles in her first attempt. As Miranda Costin, junior guard out of Norwich, comes in for her first minutes of the evening. Surly gets them both. She had a nice half, Megan Surly has. Knocked down a couple three balls and been successful on her trips to the line as well. Steele elbow jumper, too strong. Mendez boxed out on the backside, saves the possession for the Saints. Kennedy pulls the deep three. That won't go, and Surly with the rebound. Schooley, nobody playing her, takes it into the paint, partially deflected by Steele. Griffin with the follow, off the mark. 17-point lead and the basketball. As Kennedy pulls up and front rims the 16-footer. We're inside a minute. Schooley guarded now by Spade on the switch. Corner jumper rims out for Costin. Good defense by Griffin. Larasuente saw Steele running to the front of the rim all the way. That was the target, but Griffin, quick hands, quick feet, breaks up the play. Mendez will inbound underneath, see if she gets it back on the inbounds play. She will. Played well by Pharmacy. Gets her attempt there, will Jenny. Misses everything. 5 on the shot clock. Jazz got to get busy. Not sure if that's where she wanted to go. Thought she wanted to pull the trigger on the shot. Partially blocked, turned it into a pass, and Steele finishes at the rim. 10 seconds left in the half. They go down low to Foot. Save. Searly. Jumper. Won't go at the buzzer. And that'll do it for the first half here. CSJ closes on a nice run over the last 5 minutes of play. Pushes their edge up to a 19-point advantage. Defense to offense, as we've so frequently seen by the Saints. And we've certainly seen it here tonight. And also some sharp shooting inside, outside, off the dribble, off the pull-up by Lara Suente. Got the Saints going early and staked them to this 19-point advantage at the half. So with a timeout on the floor, we'll take an extended break. We'll be back in a few here on STCN. Good? Okay. And welcome back to Saints basketball here on STCN, where CSJ holds the 41-22 advantage at the half. A few stats that we'll run over with you at halftime here, and leading the way for Pharmacy. We talked about it in that first half. Megan Searly with 10 points, 2 of 2 shooting from behind the arc, 4 of 4 from the free throw line to pace the Panther attack. And on the Saints side of things, Jazz Lara Suente with 12 points. Her running mate in the backcourt, Mookie Kennedy, with 10. And Regina Steele, 8 points of her own. Some turnover points. That sticks out to me. Points off turnovers for St. Joseph, 14 in that first half. So we talk about it probably too much, that defense leads to offense, but there you have it right there. 14 points the Saints have scored off the turnovers. And shooting percentages from the floor. First half for the Fighting Saints, 56% from the floor, but a lot of that is because they're shooting layups on run-outs or off-steal opportunities, while the Panthers, on the other side of the coin, they're 7 for 31 for a 23% shooting in that first half, and the reason being there is we switched down to Steele's line, 6 block shots in the first half for Regina Steele. So what I'm saying, the Panthers, they want to pound it and get into the painted area, and on most nights, and usually every night, it's a good option or idea, but Steele with 6 blocks in there. McLaughlin with a pair of blocks herself, 9 blocks in that first half in the painted area, so sending a lot of those shot releases back at the Panthers are the Fighting Saints. So a few stats for us to chew on as we're almost ready to get this one underway. Remember, a men's run to follow. CSJ men trying to bounce back off a tough defeat last night at the hands of VTC. So we look forward to that one tonight as soon as we're all done with the women's. And a long ways to go in this one, albeit CSJ holds the commanding lead, it would seem, at halftime. Things can change in a heartbeat. So we'll see how the second 20 minutes play out here in Rutland, Vermont. That as we move forward in this one. Saints basketball, and they inbound to Kennedy, and we're underway. Broadhead steal inside of McLaughlin. Nice ball movement on this first possession. They find Kennedy in the paint. She runs it down in the corner. Jazz will reset on top. 12 left on the shot clock. McLaughlin doubled inside. Out of play off a Panther. CSJ will inbounds with 9 seconds left on the shot clock. Inbounds to Kennedy, and they'll post steal. Tipped away nicely by Schooley. 3 on the shot clock. Kennedy just lets it go. Searly takes the inbounds, and that was a little smile on her face, probably. No pressure to start this second half. First half, every time she touched the basketball, she had one or two players on her. As they enter down low to Sullivan, Steele with another shot block there. Schooley goes to the deck. Good hustle. Lara Suente, crossover dribble, gets to the paint. Can't finish. Steele with the offensive rebound. She'll be called for steps. Will Regina. So a little sputtering start by both squads here in the second half. Costin goes middle to Schooley, back to Searly, and they find Sullivan. She'll take it to the rim. Shot won't go. And again, it's not only the shots you block, the shots you affect. Steele affected another one there. As Lara Suente finds her running mate Kennedy in the paint. Mookie fouled on the shot release. She'll shoot a pair. Up and good on the first for Mookie. And a second as well. And the pressure by the Saints broken nicely. They find Costin in transition. Hand off to Schooley. Sullivan goes down inside to Costin. Whistle, they'll get Broadhead with the push inside. Shamari's fourth, team's first of the half. Sullivan to foot on the backside. Open 14-footer, back rims it. McLaughlin clears it. Kennedy, hesitation dribble. Runs it down in the corner, saves it to Lara Suente. Flipped it back as Jazz flipped it to Mookie as she was going down. And Mookie touched it, but she was still standing out of play. Turnover Saints. And they clear the timeline, but Lopez steps in the passing lane. Finds Kennedy. Left-hand release won't go. Lopez had it lined up for the putback. Ball slipped through her hands. Searly comes this way with it. They go inside a foot. Blocked by McLaughlin. Her at least her third of the night, if not four. Don't know if she's had two in this half. She had two at halftime, did Jamie. So again, that good interior defense by the Saints. And they'll get Schooley with the bump out front for the Panthers. Schooley's first, team's second of the half. Lopez triggers in from the sideline. Gets it back from Steele. Loops it inside to Steele. And off Steele and out of play. A little ragged to start here. Saints with a 21-point advantage. And they get into that 2-2-1 full court pressure. Sullivan dribbles through. Finds foot on the baseline. She'll pull it back out on top to Searly. Thought about it. Now puts it on the floor. Loses the handle. Saved by McLaughlin. McLaughlin back out to Lopez. The deep three ball. Tony knocks it back. Said it last night. Boy, that's an awful nice third guard to have come in off the bench. She can shoot it from deep, handles it well. A willing and very skilled and talented passer also is Lopez. Shows you the deep ball game right there. As another turnover for the Panthers. on that possession. Coming back into the game here, number 33, Witten, and number 42, Griffin for the Panthers. Lopez brings it across. She'll set on top. Turnover Saints. So both teams with more turnovers than points in the early going of the second half. Nonetheless, the Saints hold a 24-point edge at the 16:05 mark of the second. Surley to the rim. Won't go. Good hustle by both teams on the floor in the paint. Held ball. Arrow favors Albany Pharmacy. Sullivan triggers it in. Witten says, why not? Off the mark. Lopez head up in transition, finds Lara Suente. Steal way out on top. Trying to get into a little flex offense. Flex cut right there by Lopez. She's fouled on the cut. That foul against Costin. Her first. Team's third. A timeout on the floor. We'll take one too. Saints in control. And welcome back to Saints basketball here on STCN. 4.5 minutes into the second half of play. Both teams trying to get settled in. Turnover bug has bitten both of them. Just looking over those halftime stats, St. Joseph only turned the basketball over 6 times the entire first half. They're pushing that right now in the second half, only 4.5 minutes in. St. Joe's will inbound on the side. They get it to Kennedy on top. McLaughlin holds it high, looks it over, gets stripped. Witten, full head of steam. Blocked by Lara Suente. Sized her up well from the backside. Rejected the release from Witten. So another turnover by the Saints, but Jazz saves the day, doesn't give up the easy bucket. They'll make the Panthers earn it in the half-court set. They loop it out top to Costin. Costin goes to Witten, pulls the trigger, gets it to go. A long two for Rochelle Witten. Mookie will pull from the top. Knocks it back 3 feet behind the arc. Mookie Kennedy can beat you off the bounce. That time steps back and knocks down the triple. Good pressure applied by the Saints. 10 count. 10 count. Just beat it across, or get it across, I should say. Griffin takes it right to the rim, up and good for 2. Danny Griffin with a nice move inside. And now the action's picked up. As soon as I say that, travel on Lara Suente off the catch. Checking into the game for CSJ. Spate and Jenny Lopez. So Shianika Spate, number 25, and Jenny Lopez back in for Coach Wood. Sullivan head of steam, looks it over, takes it to the rack. A little too crisp off the glass. Griffin on the backside powers it up. Shot won't go, but she'll shoot a pair. Spate assessed the personal. Shianika's second, team second. Green up and good on the first. Freshman out of Paramus, New Jersey. A little too strong on the second release. Steele corrals the rebound, and they find Mendez for the easy bucket. Jenny Mendez, that's the old deal. You talk to the coach during the free throw, and then you step in the paint and get the easy lay-in. Worked right there. Sullivan to the rack, won't go. Griffin with the offensive board, won't go. They wrestle for it in the paint. That's a tough travel call. The right call, but a tough one. Regina in there wrestling with Danny Griffin. Went to the deck with possession of the ball. That's a travel as the Panthers inbound. And Surley with the deep pull, won't go. Mendez, a nice outlet to Lara Suente. Saints off and running. Hesitation, step back. Can't draw iron on that release. And that foul is going to go again against Spate. Her third, team's third. And the Panthers bring it across. Trapped is Sullivan, finds Surley. And she'll take it into Steele. And a whistle, and I don't think a foul on the floor. Going to have a technical foul against Coach Pelletier of Pharmacy. Wanted the foul call on Steele as Surley drove it into the paint. So they walk to the other end of the floor. Lara Suente will toe the line. Knocks the first. And the second as well. So the Panthers determined to continue to drive it into the paint and haven't had much success in that area all night. Again, Surley put it on the deck, took it at Steele. Shot block precipitated the technical on Coach Pelletier. Now the officials discuss it with Coach Pelletier. And I think we're ready to go. No, we're not ready to go. Officials will confer. Trying to figure out possession here. Shouldn't be that difficult. I think they've got it now. Pharmacy possession. Sullivan will trigger it in for the Panthers. Schooley in the corner. They post Sullivan. She wants it. Gets it against Mendez. Drop step. Pivots out of it. Gives it back to Surley, who drives in. Takes the harm. Gets the bucket. Nicely done by Surley. Put it on the deck. Got to the painted area. Finished that one. And draws the foul. That foul goes against Mendez. Her second. Team's fourth. As Kennedy comes back into the fray. Surley back rims her free throw attempt. Boy, Lara Suente in traffic like they're not even there. She gets hacked from behind. They'll get Surley on the reach. And Des puts it on. They find Jenny in the far corner. Her floater goes, but it won't go. Waved off. Off the ball, they've got Spate with the hold inside. Her fourth, team's fifth. Mendez on a nice floater, got it to go, but negated by the foul call. Griffin wanted to take it to the rim, thought better of it, dragged the pivot foot, and we're going the other way. Saint basketball. McLaughlin back into the contest. She'll come in for Spate. And for Pharmacy, number 31, Rebecca Foote will give Griffin a blow. A full court pressure here of the zone variety by Pharmacy. There's Suente, finds Kennedy. Skips it backside for Mendez, a little too tall on the delivery. Turnover Saints. Schooley holds on the wing. It's to Sullivan on top. Crossover dribble. Foot. Probing. Finds Schooley. Surly in the corner. Stop. Pop. Front rims it. Schooley runs it down. Good hustle by Alexa. And she'll take it right to the rim. Takes the bump. Shot won't go. But she'll shoot a pair. Foul on Steele, her second. Team sixth of the half. First attempt rattles out for Alexis Schooley, graduate student from Auburn, New York. Gets the second, does Schooley. Into the game for the Saints, Samani Stevenson, number 10, checking in for Mendez. As the Saints go to work offensively. Nice anticipation that time by Whitten. Schooley out in front. She's fouled on the release. We'll revisit the line. Foul goes on Kennedy. Mookie's second. And Coach Wood wants to talk it over at the 12:09 mark. CSJ leads it by 23. And welcome back to Saints basketball here on STCN. Timeout by Coach Wood. I'm sure he's going to talk about maybe the turnovers. Last night, 19 turnovers against VTC. Tonight, quite a few turnovers in this second half. I said at halftime CSJ only had 6 turnovers on them. But, again, that's really the only Achilles heel at most nights that you'll see with this group. Maybe some unnecessary turnovers. Last night, 19 turnovers against VTC, and they were not pressed. Haven't been really pressured here tonight either. Although the last few possessions, Pharmacy has gotten into the full court pressure. Schooley up and good on her first. Schooley came in averaging 14 points per game. And a 71% shooter from the line. Gets them both, does Alexa. Kennedy in a hurry crossing the timeline. She's trapped. And we'll see which way that goes. Could have gone either way to my eye. Whitten got in there and, yeah, did have, I thought, control of it. The foul goes against Kennedy. So Mookie brought it across the timeline, was immediately trapped. Good hustle by Whitten. Rochelle works her way to the line for a 1-and-1. Gets the first to go. A junior guard out of Herman, New York. Little 1-2-2, three-quarter court trap. Move the basketball, see if you can get a middle. That time they go backside to Kennedy. Kennedy finds Stevenson for the bucket, waved off on the delivery. Or go middle to Steele, not expecting the pass. Regina wasn't. And the ball rolls out to Kennedy. Fakes the three, goes inside On a spinning release from the baseline. Amani Stevenson with her first points of the night. Schooley thought about the 16-footer, pulls it out. They find Whitten in the corner. Ball rolls across to Sullivan, goes inside to Foot. Won't go. Good defense interior by McLaughlin, and she finishes with the possession with a nice rebound. Lara Suente, hesitation dribble, finds Steele. Her shot rims out. Looks like one of the Panthers shaken up on the play. Coach Pelletier goes out. Check on his player. Remember, a men's tip coming as soon as the women's are done. Should be a good one. Saints dropped one here last night to VTC, looking to rebound from that. And a solid Pharmacy club coming in to take on the Fighting Saints here tonight. They're taking their time. Head trainer Mike Dorian out on the floor, making sure everything's okay. Appears that it is, but there's no rush. Never should be with an injury. So many times you go on the floor and an injured player wants to immediately get up off the floor, and first thing you'd say as a coach is just take your time. We're in no hurry. You want to take a break? And we'll take a short break. We'll be right back here on STCN. Schooley runs that down. Nice hustle by Schooley to save the possession. Searly to the rack, won't go. Griffin working hard inside. Clears it outside to Foot. And now on top to Costin. 5 on the shot clock. Schooley pressured by Broadhead and fouled by Shamari. Ball was up for grabs. Schooley knew she needed to get a shot up on the glass as the shot clock was about to expire. Bailed out with the foul call on Broadhead. And that's Shamari's 5th. So she's done for the night. Schooley hits her first. Jenny Mendez back into the contest, replacing Broadhead. And gets a pair, does Schooley. That's good to see her. Right back into the game is Sullivan. She'll give Costin a rest. 19-point advantage for CSJ. The 10-20 mark of the second half. Pressure bothering the Saints a little bit here. And they clear it. Get it to Mookie on top. She goes to Stevenson. They swing it to the back corner. Mendez back on top to Stevenson. Kind of an out-of-control set here. And finishes with a travel on Stevenson. So we're inside of 10 minutes. Panthers clear the timeline, trailing by 19. Griffin looks inside to Sullivan. Power dribble, gets into the lane, and gets it to go. Taylor Sullivan dropped the left shoulder, went up strong, gets the bucket and one for the grad student out of Troy, New York. O'Sullivan looks to complete the three-point play. And does. And the Panthers making this interesting. Trim the lead to 16. What was in the 20s a couple minutes ago. There's Suente, finds Kennedy. Skips it across to Mendez. 12 on the shot clock. They go far left corner. Kennedy Comes up empty on that release. Schooley out of the pack, but stripped by Kennedy with the quick hands, and she'll finish at the rim. Just like that. Offense is struggling. We'll get a little offense off the D. Strip steal and a score by Kennedy. Ball deflected out of play. The Panthers will retain possession. It's Tony Lopez, number 14, checks in for Mendez. And for the Panthers, number 33, Witten, will give Foot a breather. Surly wide open, and she'll pull. Off the mark with that 3-ball release. Lara Suente, I think as soon as she let it go, wish she hadn't. Surly read it all the way, crossover to play. Surly down the paint. Whistle and a foul. They'll get McLaughlin. Megan Surly works her way to the line for a pair. Coach Wood had enough. He calls the timeout. It'll be a full one. We'll take one, too. Be back in 30 seconds here on STCN. And welcome back to Rutland, Vermont, where the Albany College of Pharmacy has put on this full-court pressure and kind of taken the Saints off their game, if you will. The deficit right now, an 18-point advantage for CSJ, but Coach Wood not pleased, and I'm sure he talked about just spread out, know what we want to do in attacking this pressure. We certainly are skilled enough to do so, and there's no need to be in a big hurry here. There's no need to throw 40-foot passes trying to, thread the needle at the other end. Just make good, solid passes. We don't have to make the great pass every time. As Surly bottoms her first free throw. Off the mark on her second, but Sullivan up big on the glass. Tied up, arrow favoring the Saints, and they'll go on the attack. Panthers have cashed in at the free throw line, and they will continue to do so the rest of the half. As McLaughlin wanted Kennedy up the backside, threw the pass behind her out of play. But with 10 personals on CSJ, no more 1-on-1 situations for the Panthers. They'll shoot 2 the rest of the way. Schooley finds Sullivan, stops, pops, gets. Took the harm as well, but bottoms the 18-footer coming off a backside screen. And she'll revisit the line. Will Sullivan looking to continue to trim this deficit. It stands at 15 right now. Eyes it. And gets it. The lead is now 14 points. Pharmacy hanging around at the 8:30 mark. Reverse sides to the floor. Reverse it again. Lara Suente comes across with it. He's in a hurry. Finds McLaughlin on the box. Too strong on the release. Won't go. Sullivan looking down the floor to Griffin. And she travels in transition. Tough place to give your center the basketball. 40 feet from the basket in transition. She's got her footwork crossed and results in the travel violation. But Lopez turns it over on the inbound. Schooley picks it up and lays it in, and we got a 12-point ball game. Lopez goes middle. Finds Lara Suente on the backside. She goes paint. Takes the harm from Griffin, and Jazz will shoot a pair. Eyes it, knocks it back, does Lara Suente. Back into the game, number 31, Foot for the Panthers. She'll give Griffin a break. Rims out on her second attempt. Witten across the timeline finds Schooley. Pulls it back behind the 3 line. Sullivan off the base back to Schooley. Patient are the Panthers. Surly explores, gets into the paint. Her runner won't go. Jazz rebounds and immediately is fouled in traffic. That foul will go against number 31, Foot. Rebecca's first, team 7th. So now the Saints are in the 1-and-1 situation. Lyra Sawani toes the line. Gets her first to go. She'll have the bonus. Off the mark. Foot runs it down in the corner. Panthers bring it across, trailing by 14. Schooley looks cross court to Searly, who battles in traffic. Steele comes over, rejects at the rim, but Schooley on a putback and works her way to the line again. A good hustle by Pharmacy. Searly battled in traffic, got the shot up, blocked by Steele, but Schooley there to clean it up. The old-fashioned three-point play trims the lead to 11 points. Plenty of time left in this one at the 7:20 mark. Kennedy works it across, finds Lopez. They go inside to McLaughlin. Jump hook off the side of the board, but Steele, as she so often is, there to clean it up. Big putback by Regina. This is what the doctor ordered. Pushes the lead back up to 13, but they lob quickly inside, do the Panthers, and they find Whitten with the left-handed release. Steps on Lopez, wanted to go middle. Passing lane closed up, off balance, dragged the pivot foot. And a timeout, Coach Wood needs to talk it over. Don't go away. A lot of game left in this one as Pharmacy has trimmed that lead to 11. We'll take a break. And we're back here in Rutland. Boy, momentum's a great thing when it's sitting on your shoulder, and right now it's sitting on the shoulders of the Albany Pharmacy Panthers. Cut into this sizable lead, trimmed it back to a working margin of 11, and they have the basketball. Schooley explores on top, finds Sullivan. She puts it down on the deck, left hand, gets it to go off the baseline. Cuts the lead to 9. Uncle Mo riding on the Panthers' shoulders, and it's hard on the other side of the coin to get momentum back. Lopez turns it over. They throw it ahead to Schooley. Hesitation dribble. She's trapped in a corner. Schooley to Foot to Sullivan. Front rims it. Steele up in traffic with the rebound. What way is this going? They're going to get Regina actually over the back. She came away with the basketball. She'll also come away with a personal foul. Regina's third. And towing the line is Schooley, where she'll shoot a pair. Up and good for Alexa. And a grad student out of Auburn, New York, gets a pair to go. Cuts the lead to 7. Saints bring it across the timeline. Lyra Suente looks it over. Hesitation dribble, shoots the floater. That won't go. And out of the pack, Searly up the left sideline, finds Sullivan. Gets back into the paint, fans it to Schooley. Puts it on the deck, no place to go that time. Runs right into Steele. The Saints run out. Lyra Suente to Steele, too hard off the backboard. Mendez and Foot go to the deck. Possession arrow favors Pharmacy. So Pharmacy brings it across. They trail by 7 with the basketball. Spirited club here. Pharmacy down 20, 22 points probably at one point. Have cut this thing back to 7 points. And they explore on the offense. Whitten gets into the paint. Her floater will go. Put it on the deck, got past Mendez. And the lead is 5. Clara Suente in a hurry across the timeline. Fans it back to Kennedy. Her triple gets it. That's a big three right there for Mookie Kennedy to stem the tide, at least for a moment. Schooley drops the shoulder. And Steele assessed with the personal. Regina's fourth. And of course, long ago, Coach Pelletier right in front of us here, talking with his troops. Pharmacy has come a long ways back, cutting the deficit to 8 points with 4:09 to play. Plenty of time left in this one. As CSJ will inbound. Steele to Kennedy. 1-2-2. Full court trap has bothered CSJ, not that time. Steele takes it right down Broadway and clears the timeline. A little patient offensive possessions Coach Wood wants here. Don't want that. Don't want to pick your dribble up, and then you don't want to bail Kennedy out, as Whitten does with the foul. Out a player in that situation, dribble burn back to the basket 45 feet away. Don't want to reach in and foul, but that's what happened. Mookie toes the line for a 1-and-1. Up and good for Kennedy. Second one goes as well. 10-point spread for CSJ at the 3:45 mark. Searly to Schooley, goes down inside to Foot, finds a cutting Sullivan. Steele comes over, but the shot block won't happen this time. Bucket goes, and the foul will go against Regina. And that's her fifth. So the second Saint of the night disqualified on fouls. Broadhead went earlier. Now Steele will go take a seat. A nice finish that time by Sullivan over Steele. And a nice hand for Regina Steele as she goes to the Fighting Saints bench. Up and down, high arcing release. Kennedy gets it, Sullivan gets it to go. And the lead is 7 for the Saints as they find Kennedy, and she'll set at the top for CSJ. McLaughlin to Kennedy. Dribble it back out and reset. 10 on the shot clock. Time to get busy. They go to Larasuente off the right wing. Dribbles baseline, stop, pop, back rims it. Loose ball. And a held ball. McLaughlin and Schooley on the floor for that one. And a timeout. I think Schooley got the timeout on the deck with possession. So a short timeout on the floor. We'll take one too. And welcome back as Shirley brings it across the timeline. Heads up by Schooley that time on the floor before she was tied up. Gets the timeout. She gets the basketball there on the cut. But bottled up inside. And turns the basketball over. So the Saints will have it at the 2:45 mark with a 7-point lead. Kennedy loops it across to Larasuente, finds Jones in the corner. They skip it backside to McLaughlin, and Kennedy will set on top. 10 on the shot clock. Laughlin looks backside to Jones. Gets in the paint, fans it back to Kennedy for the three ball. And another big triple by Kennedy. Gives the 10-point spread back to CSJ. So nice penetration by Jones. Got in the paint. Knew where she wanted to go, and that was to Kennedy all day. Foot inside. Rejected by McLaughlin. Schooley puts it up. Rejected again by McLaughlin. Big defensive series by Jamie. Sending 2 shots back. And the Saints will run and finish. Kennedy with the left hand at the rim. So Kennedy restoring a little order in this one offensively. A 3 ball and then a transition 2. Saints up a dozen, but a whistle and a foul. Jones with the body out on top. First one rims out for Shirley. Second one true. McLaughlin looking for help. Gets it from Kennedy. Oki dribbles across. Finds Larasuente. She puts it on the deck. Goes by Sullivan. Sullivan will be assessed with the personal. Her third. Larasuente goes to the line, shooting a pair. Official confers at the table. Not sure what this is about. I guess it's a 1-and-1 attempt. Not shooting 2. They figured that out. So a 1-and-1 for Jazz. Makes no difference as she hits that first. And the second goes as well for Larasuente. 13-point advantage CSJ. Minute and a half to go in this one. Schooley looks inside and gives it to Foot on the box. Spins lane. Surly on the backside jumper. Off the mark. Spade up in traffic. Nice rebound. In traffic for Shayonica. Kennedy a little too tall on the delivery to Jones. Threw it into the Saints bench. Panthers have to go in a hurry. Schooley gets it down inside, burns her dribble, kicks it out to Witten. Witten to Schooley. This time she'll go strong to the rim. Blocked by McLaughlin. Boy, good interior defense tonight by McLaughlin and Steele. Jamie of late sending shot after shot back at the Panthers. And they'll get Sullivan for the reach out on top. Lyra Suente this time to the line. Will shoot 2. Up and good. Off the mark on her second. And Whitten puts it on the deck, goes back to Foot, back to Whitten. Surly, deep pull, rims out. McLaughlin with the rebound, and she'll be fouled by Foot. And we'll parade to the other end, where McLaughlin will shoot a pair. Up and good for Jamie. Quality shooter from the line. Shoots it at 78%. Gets the first to go. Does a lot of the dirty work, does McLaughlin. Plays good interior defense, rebounds. As we said, quality at the line, although that one rims out. So we're under 30 seconds to play in this one. Schooley holds on top. Gets it to Searly. They go down inside to Griffin. Dump it down low to Whitten. Ball deflected out of play. Panthers will retain possession. Schooley triggers it on. Surly, 3 pull. Won't go. Sullivan working hard inside. Another shot blocked by McLaughlin. Hands off to Jones. And that'll do it here in Rutland. It's a 77-62 decision. Goes in the win column for the Fighting Saints. But it didn't come easy. Held a 20-plus lead midway through that second half. And Pharmacy could have packed it in and thought about the drive back to Albany, but not the case. The Panthers stayed with it, kept pounding that painted area, got some shots to go, worked their way to the line, got in the double bonus, and put the pressure on the Saints, the full court pressure, and it really bothered CSJ. And they just seized momentum, did the Panthers, with about 8 minutes left in the contest, and cut that deficit down. I believe they got it as low as 7 on multiple occasions. But the last gasp was put off by Kennedy, who hit a big 3-ball and then immediately scored in transition. 5 quick points by Kennedy. Got Uncle Mo back on the side of the Fighting Saints, and they were able to put this one in the win column, although a spirited effort by the visitors from Albany College of Pharmacy. So that'll do it in our first one. Saints win at 77-62. We'll take an extended break now, and we'll be back in a few for the men's run here on STCN.